Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. So we've just had round 7 Super Rugby this last weekend. I didn't really get to watch most of the games. I've got the games recorded for this weekend, but all I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about the two games I watched, and then I'll just give the scores for the rest. And then maybe when I do the preview for the next round, I'll actually talk about those some of the games that I watched. I just have to say that Superbru sucks. I got 1 out of 6 correct, but let's just get some of the comments. I think a lot of people got the scores completely whacked. So yeah, I was quite nervous. One of my leagues is a money league, and I thought I'd tumble down, but it seems like a lot of people followed the same kind of trends as I did. I only went from, I think, 2nd place to 4th place, so it wasn't the end of the world. But yeah, I'm just going to go through the two games I did watch, and I'll give the scores for the rest. So the first big derby of the weekend, we had the Hurricanes versus the Crusaders. I predicted the Hurricanes to win this game, and boy, was I absolutely wrong. Crusaders won this game 32-8. A very, very convincing win. That blip last week with the Crusaders against the Waratahs, I think, was just a blip. While I was watching the game, I just felt that the Hurricanes played way too much rugby. They were playing rugby in their 22, and there was that one penalty that I think they got a penalty against them right there in front of the post. But yeah, you can't listen. Just have an exit strategy. Don't play. I think Bowen Barrett had a shocker of a game. A lot of intercept passes. I don't know. I look at the Hurricanes playing other sides, and I think, wow, this is a really good side. And when they come up against the Crusaders make them look ordinary, and ordinary. And that's what I felt the Hurricanes looked like. They felt like a team that was they just seemed ordinary on the day, and those are the top 2 teams in all the conferences. I'm not when you take 1 to 15, and yeah, the Hurricanes just seemed completely off the pace when it came to the Crusaders, and yeah, I don't see any team beating the Crusaders this year, and I'm safe right now, and I think the Crusaders are going to win it again, 3rd year in a row. And at this rate, unless some of the other teams really step up their attack and their defence, I just don't see it happening. There's just too much depth in that Crusader side. Pity about Kieran Reid getting another injury. He just comes back and then he gets another injury, but they really need to protect him, maybe keep him out for a little bit longer, maybe a couple more weeks, and then bring him back in again, because they need him for the World Cup. So I hope New Zealand Rugby take note of that and look after that. Next game I also got wrong. I predicted the Waratahs would win, and the Waratahs lost 31-29. I started watching this game. Like I said, I haven't watched it in full. I've only watched the first 15 minutes. And at that point, the Waratahs were actually in the lead. Quite. They looked like they were going to run away with the game. So I'm just going to watch the end of the game and see what happened. Next game, I just watched. I was working, and I could just come in and out of the office just to come look at the scores. And the Blues beat the Stormers 24-9. I've got the game recorded, and I'll watch that a bit later. Next game, the bloody Reds. Rebels beat the Reds 32-13. If you've watched this channel, then you know that every time you choose the Reds to win, they lose, and if you choose them to lose, they win. And I don't know, they're a real bogeyman side when it comes to Super Rugby. Superbru, I'm like to hear what your guys' opinions on the Reds, because for me, I just never get the scores right. I'm just going to do the Jaguares Chiefs. My wife teased me about this because I'd set the Jaguares to win, and the Chiefs beat the Jaguares 30-27, and she thinks I'm a complete loser. So the only game I got right this weekend was I predicted the Bulls would win, beat the Sharks, and they did. The Bulls beat the Sharks 19-16. I'm probably talking about this game the most. The first half was a complete snooze fest. It just went over, and I think it was 6-3 at halftime. It really was a lot of knocking, handling errors. No team was getting ascendancy. There was no continuity, not even 2 phases, and there'd be a knock on, or there'd be some kind of error or some kind of mistake. And it was horrible to watch. It really was horrible to watch. I know Durban's a hard place to play, At that time of the year, the humidity is extremely high, but those kind of mistakes shouldn't be coming from the Sharks then. They train in this kind of weather, so they should be used to it. Second half, it seemed to improve drastically. I think both the intensity from both sides improved a hell of a lot. I must say in that first half, there was that one call from the TMO. Look, I'm glad he said the ball touched the line, but I don't know, I can't zoom in, and maybe they had other angles to watch, but for me, it looked like the ball was in play still, and it was a try. But yeah, it's difficult. Even Nick Mallett was saying afterwards, when the ref says it's on-field decisions to try, there should be clear evidence that it's not a try, and that's not 100% sure if it was clear. So I think it was a wording problem between the TMO and the ref. But yeah, at the end of the day, one decision doesn't make up a game. It's game's played over 80 minutes, not over 8 seconds. So in the second half, it improved a hell of a lot. Fewer handling errors. The Bulls started playing a lot more direct. I know that the Sharks did get 2 tries with Esterhuizen, and I can't remember what the other try. Whatever. And but then Jesse Kriel got the other try with Odendaal straightening up and going direct and going straight. Much better work from the Bulls. The one difference between the two teams was that Robert Dupree left 7 points on the field by missing those three kicks, and Andre Pollard didn't miss any kicks, and that's the difference in the score. If the Sharks had got those kicks over with Robert Dupree, they would have won that game. They would have won the game by 4 points. So at the end of the day, if you're going to play that kind of territory kind of game, especially in that kind of weather, and you've got an opportunity to score points, you have to score the points. And that's just the way it is, because the Bulls won that game by Andre Pollard not missing any of the kicks. It was marred by a bit of a fight between Akker van der Merwe and Schalk Brits. Yeah, that both players deserve to get red cards for that. For me, it felt like Akker came in with his head-on-head contact. Schalk retaliated with punching. He punched him in the head, which is completely wrong. Akker returned the favor, missed the first punch, landed the next 2. So, yeah, both of them deserve red cards. It's pretty sad. Schalk Brits in his whole 17 years has never got a red card. So this is his first time he's got a red card, and now it's for punching. So I was listening to the commentators after the game, and they're saying in that kind of situation with a red card, they always start at the maximum sentence, so it'll be 6 weeks. 6-week ban, and then they work backwards from there from mitigating circumstances. I reckon they'll be lucky if they get 2 weeks. If they get 2 weeks suspension, then I think they'd be seriously lucky, and the Bulls and the Sharks can count themselves lucky, because they're both. I don't even know who the next hooker is for the Sharks. I think is a huge big drop off from at the next level, and so yeah. I reckon 3-4 weeks. Schalk may get maybe 1 week less than Akker, or maybe they'll get the same just for Schalk never having a red card before. But yeah, 2 to 4 weeks, I reckon, will be the thing. Outstanding player for me for the day was the Beast. I thought he played really well, and he's really getting the soft skills, and he used to always be that kind of impact kind of player, and now he's getting a lot of soft skills, a lot of turning. He offloaded at one point, so I think he's stepping up. I think he knows it's a World Cup coming at the end of the year. We still know Kitshoff is probably our first choice loose head prop, but I've always thought that internationals I've preferred Beast starting and Kitshoff coming on for the last 30 minutes for impact. But sometimes they seem to be alternating them now. But yeah, he's putting his hand up to say, listen, I should be first or second choice coming into the World Cup. And yeah, I thought he played an exceptional game. We're very, very blessed here that we have 2 exceptional 13s in Jesse Kriel and Lakonya Arm. I think Jesse Kriel in years past was predictable, would go straight into contact. He started now learning a bit more offloading game, and he's in the right places at the right time. I think Lakonya Arm is a much better rugby player in the sense that he can see space, and he understands what to do and make the right decisions at the right time. So I think we're very, very fortunate to have two exceptional 13s that we can choose to go into the World Cup. So I think at that position we're completely fine. But yeah, I thought it was a great second half. I didn't think it was a great first half. Let's guys put down what you thought of the games over the weekend. I've got another video that I did before this on European rugby, and you guys really should try watch some of the European games, especially South Africans. I think they play a very, very similar style of rugby than the way we used to play. Very tactical kicking, setting up the phases, very set piece dominated, and it's the kind and just watch it and just see what we could learn from it. Because at the end of the day, we all love expansive attacking rugby. We think it's incredible, but sometimes we're not all New Zealanders probably came out of the womb with a rugby ball in their hands. So we got to really focus on what we're good at and improve on that. But yeah, try watch it. Especially you've got to see this one thing. Leinster Ulster. My favorite forward is Tide Furlong, and he's a tight head prop for Leinster. And from a ruck, without even batting an eyelid or thinking or anything like that, he kicked the ball. So it was from a turnover in their 22. He grabbed the ball, he took it on himself, and he kicked the ball. And it reminds me of like a Brodie Retallick who sidesteps, who dummies. Watch Tide Furlong. The guy's an absolute genius when it comes to that, because it wasn't like he kicked it down the throat of someone. It was measured. It was the right thing to do at the right time. But yeah, try watch that. I thought that was amazing. I was actually going to try find a picture of that for my other video, but I couldn't. But listen, guys, hope you guys have a wonderful week, and chat soon. Cheers. Bye.